A startup most people have never heard of is about to raise $1.5 billion. Baseten. Just months after its last giant funding round, investors are throwing money at it again. There's a detail buried in this story that explains everything wrong with the AI economy right now. And there's a number tied to this that genuinely stopped me cold. If you work anywhere near software, this affects your paycheck. So why now? Because the AI war has quietly shifted. The battle is no longer about training models, it's about running them fast and cheap every single time you hit enter on ChatGPT. That's called inference. According to TechCrunch AI, Baseten is closing in on a $1.5 billion round at a $13 billion valuation, just months after its last mega round. The number that stopped me cold is coming up. The players here are bigger than one startup. Let me explain what Baseten actually does, because the name tells you nothing. When you use an AI app, somebody has to run the model on real hardware the moment you ask a question. That's inference. Training a model is a one-time, enormous cost. Inference is the forever cost. Every query, every image, every line of code, build again and again. Baseten sells the plumbing that makes that fast and cheap for other companies. Here's what this means for you. Every AI tool you touch at work runs on infrastructure like this. The cost of that inference decides whether your company's AI features survive or get killed in the next budget review. And that decides whether your job leans on AI or competes with it. So loop number one, why are investors so obsessed with a plumbing company? Because plumbing is where the recurring money is. Training gets headlines. Inference gets the bill forever. By the way, if this kind of breakdown is useful to you, hit like. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people. But what I'm about to show you is the part most people are missing. Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody in the press release will say out loud. Baseten raising again just months after its last round is not a sign of strength. It's a sign of how brutally expensive this game has become. Running inference at scale means buying or renting Nvidia GPUs that cost tens of thousands of dollars each and burning them around the clock. The cash doesn't sit in the bank. It goes straight to hardware and power bills. So, who's the villain here? Not Baseten. The real winner sits one layer down, Nvidia. Every dollar these inference startups raise eventually flows toward Nvidia Silicon. The startups take the risk. Nvidia takes the margin. And the venture firms funding Baseten, names like the same crowd chasing every AI deal, are betting they can ride that wave before it crests. The companies caught in the middle, everyone building AI products, they depend on inference prices dropping. If Baseten and its rivals can't make the economics work, Guiying, your favorite AI feature, gets more expensive or quietly disappears. Think about what that means for you personally. The AI tool you rely on is only as stable as the infrastructure war underneath it. Stay with me. The last part is what actually matters. So here's the payoff. Why does a company need $1.5 billion months after raising a fortune at a $13 billion valuation? Because inference is becoming a low-margin, high-volume commodity business disguised as a high-tech startup. That $13 billion valuation is not priced on today's profits. It's priced on a bet that demand explodes faster than competition crushes the margins. And here's the part that stopped me cold. This is starting to look exactly like the early cloud computing wars, except moving 5 times faster. The same pattern: land grab, insane valuations, then brutal consolidation. Most of these inference startups will not exist in their current form in 3 years. Here's my prediction. Within 18 months, at least one major inference player gets acquired by a cloud giant or a chip maker, and the independent ones either find a defensible niche or get squeezed out. The gold rush ends the way gold rushes always do. The people selling shovels win. That's Nvidia. That was always the answer. Before I go, here is your tech tip of the day. If you work with AI models locally or call them through APIs, learn to quantize. Quantization shrinks a model by lowering the precision of its numbers from 16-bit down to 8 or even 4-bit. Why it matters: it can cut your memory use and inference cost by more than half with barely any quality loss. How to do it: if you use Hugging Face, load a model with the bits and bytes library and pass load in 4-bit equals true. For local runs, grab a GUF quantized model in tools like llama.cpp or Ollama, and you'll run models on hardware that supposedly can't handle them. That is your tip for today. You just saw why a plumbing company is worth $13 billion and why Nvidia wins either way. Subscribe to FutureEdge. I cover this every single day. See you tomorrow.